You are listening to Basement Chronicles with Lisa Dublin, episode number 26. Hey, you made it! Welcome to my basement. I'm Lisa Dublin, a health and life coach, and I help professional and executive women to live, lead, and speak with confidence. Because you know what? Developing your confidence and deepening your faith in God is the best formula for an amazing life. So, are you ready? Let's go. Hey, podcast listeners, how is everybody doing? You know, that question, how are you? Sometimes it can just be a filler between the greeting and then moving on to the thing that you want to say. But we really need to show that we care. So can we try it again? How are you today? Are you okay? Or is there stuff on your heart? Are you tired or weary? Or are you bright and chirpy? And here is the next question. So why do you feel that way? I hope you take the time to check in with yourself. It's one of the tools that I teach my life coaching clients, how to take care of your emotions and identify whatever feelings you're feeling in the moment. Today, I want to talk about a simple process for reaching your goals. I am obsessed with the concept of halftime in sports, although I didn't play any sports as a kid, okay? I'm just your regular mom runner and a regular gym goer, that's it. And I started that late in my life. Halftime in football or basketball is the name of a break in the middle of a game. I'm sure we all know that. It gives players a chance to rest and perhaps to change strategy if they have to. Usually after halftime, the teams change position on the court or the field, and that can give momentum and really change the trajectory of the game. If this is halftime for you, you are stuck in a rut, and you reached maybe half of your goals from the beginning of the year, and the other half have fallen by the wayside, this halftime strategy that I will be discussing today in the podcast will definitely work for you. It will get you to get these other goals up to par. So please consider this episode a change of play, a change for the better, one that will get you the results that you want. Now, the other thing about this podcast episode is that I would like you to commit to listening to it again. You know why? You can listen now, but then afterwards, you would need to take at least an hour to 90 minutes to reassess your performance over the last 6 months and see what really needs to be nourished or pursued in your life for the next 6 months. When I did this exercise, you guys, it immediately became clear to me what I had to stop doing and what I needed to focus more upon for the second half of 2024. Once you have decided what you want to do, as in which goal you want to reach, here is the first step in my simple process for reaching your goals. Are you ready? Step number 1, hanker after it. People who accomplish their goals desire these goals deeply. They are what I like to call hankerers. To hanker means to have a restless or incessant longing for. Goal crushers really desire their goals. They savor the goal. They admire but do not envy others who have it. And they walk around imagining themselves as that person who accomplished the goal. That is a very powerful first step. Do not discount it. To hanker after the goals you want to accomplish is really laying the foundation for you walking into the vision that you are seeing in your head. Don't be lukewarm about your goals. Don't be wishy-washy or non-committal. Set your desire on fire. You know, I find that as we get older, as we get bogged down with the cares of life, a lot of us lose that childlike wonder of hankering after something, desiring something deeply as the precursor to getting it. Don't lose it. Go back to it. I would like you to start talking about when you reach that goal. Talk about it to the people who matter, to your friends, to your family members, to your significant other. Talking about a goal will keep you excited to get to it. And that, my friends, is the first step, and it does not require time, and it does not require too much energy. All it requires is you letting your imagination go places that you thought you couldn't go before. All it requires is you having your mind focus inwardly to see yourself being a certain thing. Listen, you can do this. Step number 1, hanker after it. Once you firmly establish in your head an image of yourself having reached the goal, whatever it is, maybe it's being 10 pounds lighter, or maybe you want to see yourself graduating in 6 months, or you want to see yourself with somebody who loves you, see yourself in a healthy relationship, or maybe having a baby, or having relocated country, or having set up a thriving business. That's another goal. Once that has happened, you will find yourself ready to move on to the next step. And this is step number 2. Decide how you are going to deal with the obstacles that will come your way. You know, many of us do not count the cost before we get into going after a goal. You will face 3 kinds of obstacles: distractions, threats, and weaknesses. Distractions include stuff like watching TV, scrolling on your phone, or taking phone calls. Threats include things that you did not cater for but which might come up. Maybe you might need to work overtime that month or even change jobs. Maybe your kid might get sick, or you too might come down with something and you can't continue to pursue your goals. Your weaknesses, on the other hand, are those things that seem inherent to you that you can't seem to get away from. Like, I know somebody who loves cleaning and she lets it get in the way of her sitting down to get her work done and to produce, those scholarly articles that her industry demands. Her weakness is that, oh my goodness, I can't see any dishes in the sink. I can't see any dust on the floor or on the mantelpiece. So she goes into a cleaning frenzy. That is a weakness that becomes an obstacle in getting to the goal. It's very important that you learn how to deal with these obstacles, distractions, threats, and weaknesses. So you have to make contingency plans. And as we go later into the goal setting process, you will realize that having things in play like evaluation, setting milestones, etc., these things will help you to adjust depending on whatever is going on in your life. If you have decided on your obstacles, the next part in reaching your goals, step number 3, is very simple but very effective. Take time to set some milestones to get to your goal. Now, you might think that this is overkill. You might think that I just simply want to get to work. But let me tell you something. The more you prepare to reach the goal is the faster you get to it. So I want to encourage you, write down all the milestones that will let you know that you are on the right track, that will encourage you in your journey to get to that goal, and let you know that you are making progress. So Google actually has a Gantt project manager app that I use to help me stay on track with my own goals. In there, you're able to plan your steps, set the milestones, and really map out your entire process. So now, I use that Gantt Project Manager app for everything. I use it for the project of writing and publishing a book, to the project of preparing to travel to give a speech. Because, for example, in preparing for travel, if I have to give a speech, that takes a lot of time and energy because there are so many details. So I'd have to also research and prepare ahead of time for this speech. But it's not just that. I have to see about wardrobe, about, just the physical details. I also, as a mom, I have to make provisions for when I'm not there to say to husband and sons, do this and do that, okay? All of these things are important. I put everything into the Gantt Project Manager app and I work from there. I set the milestones and I work towards them, and it gives me that level of comfort and competency as I go towards the goal of stepping on stage, ready to present, knowing too that my home life and the other parts of my existence are also in order. Step number 4. It seems obvious, but so many people forget to do it. Do you know what it is? I'll tell you. If you want to go after a goal, after you have spent time hankering after it, after you have decided how you will deal with your obstacles, after you have taken the time to set the milestones, the next step is to sink in the time to actually work on the goal. Anywhere I am effective right now in my life is because I have blocked off time to devote to that pursuit. And I imagine it might be the same for you. You want to reach a goal? The most basic question is, when are you going to pursue it? Identify and block off that time. Make it a non-negotiable. I go to the gym only twice a week because that is all the time I have. But those hours that I go, these are non-negotiable. I don't take calls. I don't have conversations during that time because I know that if I don't accomplish it, go to the gym at that time, there's no other time during the week that I will be able to do it. Another thing that I do on a regular basis that I've penciled in the time for is recording my podcast on the same day every week at the same time if I can get the booking right. I do also my devotions and my runs almost at the same times weekly. I've also dedicated certain days to do my finances. And also another thing that has become very important to me in my life is just concentrating on parenting, listening to a podcast, reading a book, and doing that too on a weekly basis. Listen, I also heard a sex coach say once, it is also advisable to sink in the time for regular sex, okay? I hope kids are not listening right now. I should have given the spoiler alert before, but it just occurred to me that that too needs to have time sunk in for it because it's important. The thing is, anything that you have not sunk in the time for is not coming up as important in your life. If it is important, you will find the time and you will protect that time. That's a simple analogy, no buts, no nothing. If it's important, you will find the time and you will make that time protected. Let's move on to the next step before we end. You know you also have to measure and adjust. What doesn't get measured does not get refined. And let me give you a quick example of what I mean. In my journey to achieve a certain weight and, to be healthy, etc., I have found that what works for me is to weigh myself daily. The weeks that I don't practice this, it's as if I don't have a baseline to work from as I go about my day, eating or not eating certain foods. If when I wake up I see that I weigh more than I want to, I'm encouraged to control my portions, drink more water, add in some more exercise or eat lower calorie food on that day. It just makes me more mindful to know what I'm working with. If I don't, I usually weigh a lot more than I thought I did the next time that I get on the scale. It's quite true that a goal without a plan is just a dream. A goal with a solid system and accountability will get you results. So, I want to ask you, now that you've heard this very simple process that is, however, very effective, let's perhaps recap first. Number one, once you've decided what the goal is, spend time hankering after it. To hanker, as I said, means to have a restless or incessant longing for. You're always up into the goal. You're talking about it. You're seeing it in your mind's eye. You are consumed by it. Hanker after it. Then, once you've done that, you have to decide how to deal with obstacles. So we're getting into the planning for that goal. Decide how to deal with obstacles. Then the next step is to take time to set down the milestones that will move you from point A to point B to finally the finish line. You need to chart those ones, know what they are. Step number 4, sink in the time. This is so simple or simplistic, but it's very powerful because so many people have the goals but cannot point to any hour in their week where they plan to pursue that goal. Don't be one of them, in other words. Step number 5, measure and adjust regularly. What doesn't get measured doesn't get refined. So these are the steps to reaching a goal. Thank you so much for listening today. Now, I know that you prioritize your growth and success. So if you feel stuck in any area of your life, why don't you consider life coaching? My signature program, How to Get Unstuck Total Transformation, has helped so many professional and executive women to free themselves of limiting beliefs and habits, learn to love and prioritize themselves, set firm boundaries and stick to them, be more confident, move up exponentially in their careers, and become the best versions of themselves. How badly do you want to get unstuck? How badly do you want to be the best version of you? If you desire more, take the first step right now. Go to my website, lisamdublin.com/coaching, and book a consultation with me. Let's talk about your coaching needs, because the life you want is totally possible.